How'd you
Yeah,
like it?
but I was in the studio, so it was different than the Zoom.
All right. I mean, normally I have folks come out to the house, but I was like, well, shoot, I just met you. I'm sure you like,
Exactly.
I know you.
And
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
just, I get it.
All
Oh
right.
my God.
So we live.
Hi. Hello, hello.
All right. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Okay. So we're live now. Let me just give folks. Okay. This. All right. Got it. So let me just give folks a little bit of background for anybody who may be watching. Normally, welcome back to another episode of Man Talks. This is your host Solomon. I am with Ty Curia, a new guest. Normally, as you guys we're talking to a gentleman who are making in around $100,000 range. But today, kind of doing a different little spin to things. We want to talk to the young ladies as well, because they also have a part in how the modern man operates, because he has to have a relationship with someone, So this time it's going to be a young lady. So, I mean, it's modern, baby. It's a modern day. You do what you want.
I don't have anything to object to that.
Right. So, I wanted to bring her on because she had a very interesting story that I had read. Well, actually, an interesting post that I read on her Facebook page, and it involved a quote unquote high value man. So I wanted to bring her on so she could say her side, and we kind of chop it up and talk about some things. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Tycuria do a little background about herself, and then we'll jump into like what popped off on the little meeting that she went to. Go ahead, take it away.
Okay, so Ty is fine. You can call me Ty, but
Okay.
I met a guy at a bar. It was my cousin's birthday, and just sitting there, and I actually sat next to him because it was two seats, and I sat next to him. So he was very polite. He looked nice. You know, everything, nothing red flag just jumped out, but he was sitting at the bar on a Tuesday night alone with seemed to be like 3 or 4 cups of alcohol that he had probably consumed. I don't know if it was his or not, but I know we had 2 shots and there were a few cups already there, empty ones. So he just talking to me. He was like, "Oh, I like your shoes." I had on some Nikes, and a dress and a jean jacket. Like it was just really like simple. Um, but he was just so kind. He was just really nice. He wanted to give me and my cousin a shot. So I was like, "Oh, we celebrating. Happy birthday, cousin." And, ordered the drinks for me.
Right.
I thought that was nice. I like when niggas just
Right.
jump
Right.
up
Shoot they shot.
and be manly. Yeah, be manly and do that. So he was very nice from the jump. We ended the night. I went home with my cousin. He went his separate way. But while we were at the bar, the first initial conversation, he had told me about himself. He ran it down already. He told me what he do for a living, which he's like a pharmacy rep of some sorts. He worked in the pharmacy field, and we connected on that because I too am a pharmacy tech.
Right.
So we have the same kind of, career background, whatever. And then on top of that, he was just telling me that he moved back here recently from the West Coast. I ain't gonna get his location out, but
Right.
he moved here recently from the West Coast. He lives downtown Atlanta, somewhere around Atlantic Station area, and all of that. So I was like, "Oh, okay, that's very nice," And I told him, "Yeah, I know that place, and I've been there." And I was like, "Isn't that like a a little college building?"
Right.
I see a lot of young people at that building. You gave me his age, which was 37. So I'm looking at him like, "Well, why are you living in a building where there's a lot of partying going on, where it's known for a lot of young girls and young guys hanging out?" And then it's Atlantic Station, so it's like that's like popular area for a younger crowd.
Just that match up with what he was saying.
No, it was interesting.
Okay.
Like, you know how somebody say something, it's like, that's interesting. I'm gonna ask about that later. So I'm gonna dig deeper into that a little later. But
Right.
so we ended the night, and you know, we exchanged numbers. So he texted me and got our schedules together because he had been out of town. And so he's like, I'm gonna have a little bit of time before I go back out of town. Can I see you? And I said, of course, let's go out. Let's do something. And he said, okay. How about Taco Tuesday? Let's just have some drinks and eat some food. I'm like, you're speaking my language because I love to eat. Um, so we confirmed everything, and we met up. I drove my car, he drove his car, and we met at the restaurant.
Right.
On time, you know, like, well, he wasn't on time. He was
Okay.
not
He
on
was
time.
late.
But
All right.
a little bit, but it was a good explanation. He's getting a haircut. He wanted to look nice. He saw that I got my hair done. He asked me about that. He was like, "Oh, I gotta go get my hair cut because I don't want to, you know, be
Right.
half
You don't
stepping."
want to half step.
So
Okay.
yeah, so I was like, "Okay, go get your hair cut. I'll meet you there." He was about 10 minutes late. Not that bad, you know. I was in the car jamming.
Right.
But he met me there. He pulled up. He pulled up in a nice vehicle. You know, it had paper tags, so that means it's new.
Okay.
I don't
Maybe.
know if it's
Maybe.
his or if it's rented or what. I don't know what it is yet. You know, I didn't ask that question. He said something about he had gotten an accident,
Okay. What kind of
and
car did you pull up in?
it was like a truck,
Okay.
Jaguar truck or something like that. It was really nice.
All right.
Um, and yeah, we went inside. We sat down. Well, before we sat down, I wanted to give him a hug because we never exchanged that in the parking lot. We just kind of hurried up across the street to the place we was going. So I gave him a hug, and he's like, "Yeah, it's nice to see you again." And oh my fucking God!
That's when the sauce hit you.
Man, first of all, I was getting 2 cents at one time, so it was overload. I
Okay.
was getting whatever cologne he had on, which was probably a nice cologne. I don't know what it was, but that was very strong.
Right.
And then on top of that, your breath is overpowering all of it. Like his breath smelled like it stank. I saw I could say it just stank. My post said it smelled like dumpster juice. It
Right.
smelled nasty. And I was like, okay. I didn't ask him if he smoked weed or anything like that. I don't know. I didn't ask him if he smoked. I should have. That should have been a question. But I was just so like, you know how something just hits you and you're just thrown off for the rest of the evening. That was what happened to me. Like it was, and I know probably other people could see my face, and I didn't look too pleased. I had to hurry up and like get myself together because I didn't want to offend him. But he offended me.
Right.
With his breath offended me. Like I wear contacts, my eyes got dry. It was not good. And so we're sitting there. I love how he orders, man. He orders some drinks. He'd be like, no, double shots. I like that. You know, I love the energy, but the breath was crazy. And then we had food come. We had wings, and he had like some bourbon peach something,
right.
some good ass sauce on his wings. Okay, and I smelled it, and I taste one. He
Right.
actually offered me one. We exchanged them because I had like some hot teriyaki, lemon teriyaki shit. So we swapped, and everybody got a wing. So I'm like, if this is sweet, then maybe it will kick that breath to the curb, you know, help it along. We drinking all the sweet alcohol and shit. That should help it, you know what I'm saying? Like calm that hot breath down. But it didn't.
It's not doing that.
It didn't do a damn thing. It did. And it's like you ever smell the smell and you can't forget it?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So
and I smelled something like that in my past as a child, and it was just not good.
So it just completely ruined the rest of the night. Did you finish the date?
No.
You didn't finish the day. All right. So how did you end the day?
No, I finished the day. What I mean is like mentally.
Right. Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, something that
I wasn't as present as I probably would have been if that didn't happen.
all right. So the obvious question is going to be, well, one question is going to be, why didn't you give this man some gum? I mean, you could have missed out on your blessing. This could have been somebody
I
that
didn't have no gum to give. If I had some gum to give, I would have whipped out the gum, but I didn't have no gum to give. I keep my gum in my work bag. That was at home. I had a small, tiny little purse. I'm talking about just my wallet and my lip gloss. I had nothing else. So I didn't have no gum to give.
okay. All right. So the
And,
guy,
and then somebody asked me that, and I was just like, I should have asked around for some gum. Like, I could have did something, but I didn't do anything because I was just like, if I smell it, you smell it.
maybe not. Maybe he's nose blind. He could have went nose blind.
Maybe it happened all the time.
Maybe it happened all the time. I don't know. Well, look. Well, you know, the first time that y'all spoke, you didn't smell anything, right?
Not that I can remember. No.
Okay.
No, I did not.
So could it have possibly?
I didn't smell him, period, because I wasn't that close to him. Like, we had a lot of space. We never touched each other, or we weren't in each other's space. He was a stranger at that point, so right. I did not smell anything.
Okay. So would you say that you were more than a seat apart on the first time?
It was swings on the at the bar. So yeah, we were kind of separate. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially compared to the second time, we were right up under each other the second time.
So we know it's not halitosis. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he just has remarkably horrible breath, because you would have smelled that the first day. So
he didn't get close to me, so I could have missed that. You know what I'm saying? If I'm standing in my area and you stand in your area and we're facing the bar, we not like on the second day, we up under each other, getting close. We had just had a hug, embrace. We pulled our chairs closer together because we wanted to hear each other talk. Like, we were cheek to cheek.
Okay. So it was a big difference.
It's a big difference on how we were sitting, yes.
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about the high value, because your post said that. Actually, let's read your post, because it was a very exciting post. All right. It says, I went on a date with a self-proclaimed high value man, self-proclaimed, and it's in quotes, and his breath smelled like dumpster juice the entire time. We had food and drinks, and that did not change a thing. Same thing that you just said. He was literally drying out my contacts with every question. He was very delusional. All right. So we need to talk about why he was delusional. First of all, let's talk about this high value. Where did that term come from? Did he come up with that? Did you come up with that? Is it because he was, where did it come from?
Okay, so he asked me about me being single, how long I've been single. I asked him the same question. We was just talking about our past. He was asking me what I'm looking for. I asked him what he was looking for. He never even got to what he was looking for. This is because he went on a rant about this high valueness that he possesses. So the question before he got to that was that he asked me, he said, well, were any of the men you dated high value men? And I was like, what do you mean by that? I'm playing dumb, but right. I know what he meant by that. I'm just like, well, what do you mean by that high value man? Explain, tell me more. I said, what do you consider a high value man? He was like, well, I myself, I'm, making this amount of money. It was over 100,000.
Okay.
I'm making this amount of money. I'm doing this. I live alone. I have my own place. I don't have nobody staying with me. I live in this building in Atlanta. I saw what he was driving. He's just going down the list of all the things that he has. But he didn't describe anything about who he was as a person, as a man. He was just describing materialistic things that you could lose tomorrow.
Right. That's true. Right.
And how he worded it was, yeah, because I consider myself a high value man.
Right. But to you, right. But to you, a high value man doesn't equate to the materials it has. Well, I mean, what does it equate to you?
I think it has to be a balance. I think it is multiple things, because you can be successful not on your own merit, if
Right.
that makes sense. Like, it can be passed down. The success can be passed down. Say, for instance, your father has a Fortune 500 company, and then you just come in and go to work.
I got you.
That doesn't mean that you are high value. That just means you were born into wealth, and which is cool. But he did. He's just he. I know he worked for whatever he has. He worked for it, because he's so proud of it. That's how I know he worked hard for it. You know what I mean? It was not given to him. That was obvious. But the arrogance and the disgust that he had for anybody else who doesn't have it
I got you.
tells me that you're not a high value man, because a man, period, valued or not, and whoever's, eyes, is never going to talk down on the next person. He doesn't give a fuck. He's
I
too
agree.
busy.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? But he just kept shouting out his accolades with this arrogance, and like he had a chip on his shoulder. And so I dug deeper into it, because I want to know what's up with you. You seem a little
Right.
delusional. So I asked him after he went on his tangent. I said, okay, well, how long have you been this high value man? How long have you had this success? What age were you? I want to know how long you've been in this realm.
Right.
It's new. This is fairly new for him. He's just obtained these things, and he's just gotten this life in the past 5 years. It's not something that he's had for a long time, or you know what I mean? It's just, you just got it. You good now. So now you ready. Then yeah. And he said that too. He said, so now I feel like I'm ready to be in a relationship again. And now I feel like, but he just got out of a relationship, which was confusing to me as well, because how he said is like, yeah, now I'm ready. Like, as if the past relationship he just had last year, not even a few months ago, you wasn't ready for that, but you was in it.
Did he dig in it? I mean, were you able to dig it? I mean, did you talk about that a little bit more?
He did. He said, I said, well, what happened with your ex? Why are you not together? He said she's still on the West Coast. That's where she's from, and she doesn't want to leave, and she didn't want to move back here to Atlanta with me, because he's from Atlanta, but he was living in California.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the only reason why you're single is because she didn't want to come with you. But a high value man, I don't see a woman not going wherever that man leads her. She sees something in you that caused her pause, caused her like to not want to take that chance with you. And maybe it's because of you're just falling into this newfound money, and it's not really as secure as you think it is.
It is. Right. So,
because you can have a good paying job and not, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Not be a high value man. You just have a good job, and it's okay.
I think it's like you said. I mean, just because that you have the monetary success now, that doesn't equate to being a high value, because normally when you have some value, people are normally you're going to bring that value to others. You're going to give that value to other folks. It's not necessarily that I have to just show, if I had to tell you I have muscles, I probably don't have muscles. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to see that.
Exactly. And I'll just tell you this one little side note about the muscles thing.
Okay.
He's very proud of what he is physically at this point, because he was not that way when he was younger. He actually showed me a picture of himself.
All right.
I guess it was, right out of high school or something around that time. And
he didn't look like Stay Puff.
Mm-mm. He was a husky little one, and it's okay, because I like my daddy got a belly. He's a big and tall man. I'm cool with that. Right. I like a dad bod. That doesn't bother me at all. But it was the way that he said it. You can tell he was trying to prove something. I got the new body, and he still had like man boobs a little bit. Like, he had a white t-shirt on that was like, it looked like undershirt, like what my sons wear underneath they clothes.
Right.
Like a Hanes t-shirt.
This was for the date. This was for the date. So the man came out in a wet t-shirt. He was ready for a wet t-shirt contest, but but you weren't prepared to see, see
No,
kind of
because
areolas.
he had a nice jacket on when I met him. So it's like I didn't even get to see all of that. You know,
Right.
he's built okay, but no, I wasn't ready for that.
You just weren't ready. The areola
No.
go. He was just doing.
It was pointing, and he looked very uncomfortable. The shirt was tight. He just did not seem comfortable, and I was thinking like maybe it's just nerves or whatever. But no, it's not even like I just don't. I like a man who can dress because I can dress. You know, it's like I like to see him looking his best, and that could have been his best. I don't know. Like I said, it's first day. I don't know, but the way he had it's like his mouth didn't match what I was looking at.
I got you. The things that were coming out his mouth wasn't necessarily the mouth itself. The things that were coming out his
No,
mouth.
the whole mouth, the mouth smell out of it. It didn't
Oh.
match up.
Look, okay, so look, let's talk about this term high value because I hear it often, and we know that it came. It wasn't necessarily coined by Kevin Samuels, but he did.
But he ran it into the mud, didn't he?
Right. He ran into the mud, and it seems like a lot of gentlemen are now coming out saying that they're high value, especially guys who are kind of similar to the guy who you went on a date with. I mean, they're able to make some money, but do they actually hold the high value? So let's talk a little bit about that term. Do you think it's being overused? And what do you think about it? Do you think it's being overused?
No. I don't think it's being overused. I think it's being used just enough. And I think there is more high valued men out there who don't know they're high value.
Okay.
Because they're not looking at it from how women look at it. Like, this is why that stereotype of they said, oh, women will take a broke man and, you know, let him live with her and all this stuff, let him drive her car. And we will, because we see value in that man in another way. Like, he can be financially short, but emotionally supportive tall. He can be a good father figure tall. He can be a nurturer tall, because I know a lot of women, especially being a northerner, some women are not as good as being nurturers. You know what I'm saying? Some of them's too hard body. They've been on the grind. They just not.
They're on the block.
Nurture. They on the block. They selling dope. They selling dope too.
Right.
So it's like some men, we don't hold a man who could be a nurturer. That's high value to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I saw that, I didn't come. My dad wasn't a really nurturing dad. He was one of them hard body. Yeah, like he treated all of us like we were boys, and he got more girls than boys. So it's like, you know, and then I had my stepdad, who was a real live nurturer type man, but he was, you know, he was different than my dad. So I kind of got the best of both worlds. But what I was saying was, it's like, each woman has what they value.
Right. And they consider
it different. Yeah, it's totally different than the next person. That's why it's very easy for women to take in men who don't, quote unquote, have their finances together, or, you know, just we can really deal with anything. Everybody has their own deal breakers. So I feel like the high value man thing, that's for y'all amongst men.
Okay.
That's a term that y'all should use amongst each other, and that's a man thing. Like, women do pick me stuff. We always talk about, oh, she a pick me.
Right.
That's a woman thing.
Okay.
Like, we're using that amongst each other because that's how we feel about that certain situation, and that's how it should be used. They're just using it as if money solves all problems in a person. That's why on the post I also said, you know, this is a prime example of how money cannot unlame a nigga. It can't.
Right. Well, okay. So we do know that there are certain values that women hold and high esteem. And you said a mouthful when you said that, that is why some women can accept a man who doesn't have any income or isn't doing as much as the next man. And that at times, I think that does throw off these guys who are newly high, who are newly high value, because it kind of makes them say, so why did I go through this whole change, this whole shift in my mindset and my personality?
Well, she just gonna give it to a bum nigga.
Right. So it has to be some type of standardization of the term high value so that everybody who's looking for it or everybody who wants to be it can actually say it. Because, for me, high value doesn't necessarily equate to, how much income you have necessarily. It equates to, your value, what you give back to your community, what you give back to the people who are around you, how you're developing people. Right. But for me,
I know a bunch of high value men right now today. I wish we were on Facebook. I could tag them because I know some. They're out there in the world. They're making a difference. They're doing good in their community. They love on their kids. They're present fathers. They, they see a granny trying to cross the street and they putting down everything they have and they're helping her across the street. Those are some really high value men. They're morally high value.
Correct. And then
that's what helps. That's what I took away from the Kevin Samuels time period.
Right.
That y'all, it's more than finances. It's about your moral standings too.
Right. Well, I don't think people took that away from that. When that term became, first it was alpha male, then it became high value. But when that term came out with Kev, I think it was more so like, how much is this man making? Which kind of makes sense, because I see it even on, obviously on social media. You see it oftentimes where you have women who have the same kind of situation that you have, where, they find a man who maybe has just for the last 3 to 5 years been making good money, just made a change in his own personal appearance. But at the same time, he's still holding a mentality of kind of like a grudge against women. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right.
I met in my dating, this was 2 years. I can say I've really been dating for 2 years now. I met so many men who dislike women to their core. They don't like us, but they know they need us for things. And just as well as women using men for money, men use women for a lot of things.
Right.
They use women, especially good-looking women like myself. They use us to make them feel better. They like how when they enter a room with a certain woman, how everybody else looks at them, how everybody else treats them. I know an older guy who I have been dating and dealing with, that he likes to take me out so he can show me off because it gives him an ego boost.
All right.
It has nothing to do with money.
Right.
I could be paying for the date. He don't give a damn. Just look good.
Right.
I want these people to be like, damn, that's you. And I respected it because he came in a situation like that. So he's always been that way. We talked about it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you want this young thing on your arm? Cool. You're going to take me to all the nice restaurants that I like? Cool. We're going to drive in your nice car? Sure. It was an even exchange. But when men are like kind of judging a woman like, oh, you need me, I don't need you.
Okay.
But you do, though, for something, because you wouldn't be here in my place.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about this, because you just made a statement. You said there are so many men who don't like women. What does that mean? Because I've heard that, I've seen it, I read it. What does that mean? Like, men don't like, there are men who don't like women. Tell me more about it.
Okay, well, no, that's way too bright. Okay, so what I mean by that is they're in competition with women.
Okay.
They look at women as being less than them. They're demeaning.
Okay.
They're argumentative about everything. They want a woman to be seen and not heard. They're disassociating themselves with every other man. They like, I am the one that's better than the rest. And it's like, you I've seen this before. I've seen you somewhere else. Like they're very delusional on that they are like someone else. They just think they're so different than the next man. And it's like, well, I'm looking at you and you're looking like my favorite rapper.
Okay.
You're copying everybody that I've seen in the past 2 years. So how can you be different if this is what you're actually literally basing your life on, and you're trying to be just like this man, but you're telling me you're different?
Right. Could
So
it,
everything you do, how you look, what you say is all the same thing that this man is doing.
well, could it be that society has given everyone a standard of not only what to look like, but also who to date? I mean, because if we think about not only just the men, just like you said, you may have a guy, he want to look like our favorite rapper, our son's favorite rapper or whatnot. But you also have women who also want to look like, they 20 and they're in their 30s, 40s. You know what I'm saying? They get the BBL, they get all that good stuff going on. So
Absolutely. I know a plethora of those as well. And how I look at it is like, okay, if that's what you want to do, I guess I just don't sympathize, or I can't relate.
right,
I woke up like this. I
right,
get out of my bed every morning and I look like this. I don't
right,
have to do anything to my hair. I don't have to do anything to my face. I don't have to do anything to look how I look.
right.
I might not have the BBL body, but my body's good. It's good. It's not sloppy. I'm neat. I know how to put myself together in a nice ensemble, in a nice dress or whatever. I look good no matter what. So I can't relate to women who feel like they have to compete in that way. I don't have to compete in that way. Now, where I think I have to compete with is more like financial.
Okay.
I have 3 kids. I'm a single mother now. I'm divorced. Things are a little difficult for me on that aspect, and that's about only thing that I feel like, okay, I might have to up my game, because I literally walked away from a high value man because I felt like I couldn't meet him. I wasn't matching him
Okay.
in the finance department.
Let's talk a little bit about that. All right. So you were previously married to a guy who you felt was high value, not necessarily because of his finance, but because of the things that he did. Correct. All right. And so now you're saying that you need to up your game in order for you to feel as if you have enough. Well, not necessarily have enough value for the next person, but to just feel like you're yourself adding on to your
Like,
finance.
I want to be on the same playing field. I don't
Right.
want to be so far off into the bleachers that you know it doesn't make sense.
Right.
I can't be out here talking about I want a nigga who drive a Maybach and I don't have a car. I
Right.
can't be that. That
Right.
to me personally, that doesn't make sense. But I know plenty of women, they on the bus all the time and they sit up here, oh, he ain't got no car.
Right.
Okay, but you don't either.
I mean, but
So
they do.
they're delusional.
Yeah. Yeah. Those
That's
ones.
delusion.
Right. So okay, now
Yeah.
how does having children and being previously married, how does that affect or how does that impact men's decision on dating you once they find out that you have children?
I feel like it increases men, like it's like a smell, like a pheromone. They are attracted to that even more than when they didn't know. Like once I tell them that, it's like, oh yeah, now I'm really going hard.
Okay.
I feel like it gives them motivation.
All right. Now
It,
now
it has never hindered anything for me personally.
okay. All right. Now the last guy that you talked to, the one with the breath, did he know that you had children?
Yeah.
Okay. And he had no problem with it.
No.
Okay.
But he had made it a thing to tell me, I don't have any kids. So like, and 90% of the men who have come after me in the last 2 years have not had children.
Okay. Does he want children? Did he say he wanted children, or you guys didn't even get that?
Yes. Yes, he said he wants kids.
All right.
He keeps saying he's ready to start a family.
All right. So did you guys get a chance to talk about any goals, like outside of him wanting to start a family? Did he say that like I want to settle down, or I just want to like just put my seed out there? I ain't got time to settle down. Like, what was this conversation about?
He said that he wanted to start a family and he's not looking for a woman, but if the right one came along, then he would pursue that.
Right.
So he didn't say that he was out here just looking for a woman, but I don't know.
Were you
I
willing
think
to
he
accept
is. It seemed like he was to me. It seemed like he was searching for something.
it? Okay. Were you willing to accept what he was giving out? If his breath was nice, if his breath didn't knock you out, were you willing to accept his terms of engagement? Like, I'm not necessarily looking for marriage right now, but I am looking for something. Were you willing to dive into that?
Yeah, because I'm a player. No, no, but
Tell her how it is.
I would say yes because he ain't gonna stop no show with me.
Okay.
Like if I felt like he wasn't serious, and if I felt any like down the line, if I ever felt that he wasn't applying pressure the right way, or I would move on.
Okay.
I would go to the next nigga. I mean, it wouldn't be. I don't know. I don't know how to really word it, but it wouldn't be a big deal to me because I know dating is to get to know someone
Right.
and to test the waters and see if you guys are compatible enough and y'all on the same page. So if 3 dates down the line and we had a miscommunication and it just was like we can't get back on track, or we're not on the same page about a lot of things, I would just stop talking to you.
Okay. So what's a date then? All right. What's a date?
What considers to be a date?
Yeah, I mean, in your humble opinion, have you had a date recently with the gentleman with the bad breath? Was that a date?
I feel like that was like an initial like meetup. Just we're just outside, not in an intimate setting, getting a feel for each other because, like I said, we're strangers. So for me, I need to see that you're not a creep because you can tell.
All right. I got you.
It's very easy to tell who's creepy.
All right. So
that was me. My opinion. I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't a creep and gain some sort of trust.
Right.
So going outside to a place where it's a lot of people around, you can't get crazy on me.
All
You
right.
can't do nothing weird. You know what I mean? I feel a little bit safe. You got security at every exit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then
Right.
I can also see what you're willing to do. Because when you go on dates with guys who are not like willing to pay for things, or they're rude to, the server or the bartender or anything, you can kind of get that at that first initial date, like, okay, yeah, he do too much, or if he doesn't know how to hold his liquor, all these type of things, or like I learned something new about him. He like to smoke hookah.
Okay.
Some women don't like men who smoke hookah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
that's a new thing now.
Yeah, for guys. For guys,
hookahs.
the guys smoke.
Yeah,
new thing.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
they don't even understand when you go to Indian cultures.
Right.
Men smoke the hookahs, not the women.
That is true. That is true. I mean, that's true.
It's a man thing.
That is true.
Actually.
You know what? It's the way society portrays it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just like it's the way society portrays it. Because now that you say that, that is a true statement. That's not necessarily something that a lot of women in India are going to be huffing and puffing. It's going to be more so men.
No. It's more women that don't smoke hookah in their culture than it is in ours.
Right. But it's more marketable to market it to the women here because you got we ain't gonna buy it.
Exactly.
Okay, so you say it takes around 3 dates, and if he doesn't act right, or if there's some type of miscommunication where he can't rebound from it, then you just gotta let it go because you got other things to go on. Also, you can also have a pre-date before the real dates, right?
Yes, like I'm a firm believer on. I'm not one of those women like, oh, take me to Ocean Air first date.
Right.
I'm not one of those women.
It's a pre-date.
I want to be somewhere. Exactly. I want to be somewhere on that initial date in case if I don't like you, I can pay for my own bill. I can I can get away quickly. I can be close to home. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those women fly me out first date. No, that's weird.
So what room of error? How much error does a man have on a predate then? Because if he is, I mean, if this is a predate and my man came with hot breath, how much error are you giving him? How much room the rebound does he get?
I gave him all the error. I did not make that man uncomfortable the whole time. We
Okay.
ended the date normal.
Okay. Okay.
We said our goodbyes. I was not angry with him or anything.
Okay.
He made sure I got home. He texted me, "Oh, did you make it?" and all of that.
Okay.
We said good morning the next morning via text, but that's it. Like it was just, a very platonic, okay, you're good, I'm good. All right, that's it.
This is my opportunity to see.
I'm not angry with him.
I got you.
Yeah, I want to see how he felt, because it could be something about me that he didn't particularly like.
Right,
I
but
just thought it was a funny situation for him to have so much arrogance, but your hygiene is not on point. That's where it was enough for me.
I got you.
If you get what I mean? It's like you consider yourself a high value man, but something's going on inside your mouth that needs your attention. How could you miss that?
Did you ask me any medical issues?
You know what? I did not ask him about any medical issues, especially after I saw the high school-ish picture. I was like, I kind of already had made up my mind about him at that point.
All right. So, fashion. All right. So, what advice would you give to a woman, who's out here dating these men who are high value guys?
Getting so dark. My advice is to use your common sense, and if you don't have any, please go figure that out. Like, use your common sense. Everything somebody says is not true, and it's not that they're lying to you, but it has to match up. It has to match up. What they're saying has to also match up with what you're seeing, because they go hand in hand. Now, people can create a facade, but your mannerisms, you have to just pay attention to people. You have to know, like the signs, like the red flags. You have to just be alert on it. You don't have to react to it on an initial date. You know what I'm saying? You can let shit fly on the initial date, as long as it's not jeopardizing your moral code and your standards. Then let it fly. Like, him having bad breath doesn't hurt me.
Right.
I mean, it dry my contact out, but I have drops for that. You know what I'm saying? It's not that detrimental to me that you're gonna cause a scene, embarrass this man in public, or any of those type of things. I would never do that. So I let it rock, because like the one person said on my post, maybe he didn't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he probably didn't know, but I knew, and it caused me so much discomfort that I couldn't really
focus,
give my best to him. I was already standoffish off of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So women, just pay attention to little things, and then if it annoys you initially, it's gonna annoy you in the future. I've been married before. I know. I turned the other cheek to a lot of things that I saw at the beginning of my marriage. Before I even got married, I turned the other cheek because I was in love with the potential of it all. You know what I mean? You can fall in love with potential.
Right.
This man had a good mouthpiece. Okay. He told me all my hopes and dreams was going to come true, and he was going to be there, right there next to me, and help me, obtain them.
Right.
He lied. He lied to me, and I fell for it, but the proof is in the pudding. He lied. He had no intentions on building me up. All the intentions of watching me be miserable next to him and having no way out. That's what he That's what he was thinking. But I'm very strong to where I know when I had enough and I left that situation. But some people are not that strong. When they feel like they got in too deep or they invested too much into a relationship, they stay.
All right.
So my thing is, at the initial meetup, the initial date, even that first time y'all make love or whatever you want to call that, have intercourse, if he is like, if it's a big disconnect and it's like, oh my God, that's gonna bother me. Say for instance, he has a smell, or the size ain't right, or anything, or he bites you and it's weird. Like, why are you biting me? And you tell him to stop, and then it continues.
Right.
Baby, it's gonna continue. It's not gonna stop. That's what he likes.
All right.
That's what he likes. That's what he into.
Right.
So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Is just like, you have time to jump ship. It's never too late to jump ship. It's okay to jump ship. I used to be afraid of failure. That's why my marriage lasted as long as it
Right.
did.
Right.
As it did. It
Right.
lasted 8 years because I was so prideful that I did not want to say I failed at this.
Right. Let me ask you something about your marriage too. All right. So I know initially you said, you want to match up with your ex-husband's high value, and high value doesn't mean money to you. Whatever value that he brought to you, you felt as if it was good. Maybe it was building you up. I don't know, but you felt whatever value that he brought to you was high enough. Now, is it safe to say that if it's not a monetary or a value that you can actually have a tangibleness to, that value could change, and it may not necessarily always stay as a high value to you or to that person?
Yes, but I also know that just as well as finances can change, emotional emotional stability can change, mental stability can change in someone. So just because they have a Maserati today doesn't mean they'll have that shit tomorrow. And just because they seem like they got all their screws tight,
Right.
doesn't mean they're gonna have all their screws. They can get into a car accident, and now they have trauma, and now they weird, or their mama can die. Because I've been through a relationship where death had changed a man, and it was not good for me, because it's like, you're gonna have to get past this in order to love me right again.
Right.
You can't be stuck on this. Grief is a topic that is hard for me because I don't deal well with death. But when you have a mate, and sometimes that mate's gonna need you while you're still grieving, you can't shut them out and shut them off for so long that they just have to basically out here fending for themselves.
Right.
Emotionally, they're gonna cheat on you.
Okay.
I mean, it's happened to a very good friend of mine. She was not there emotionally for this man when he was grieving, and he cheated on her.
Right.
And it sucks because they love each other. I know he loves her, and I know she loves him, but that matters in a marriage, in a relationship. It matters where that person is at that time. You have to make sure you reach back and grab your mate.
Right. Well,
not pull them down, but just have them close. You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of people just don't know how to do that, though. Maybe they haven't seen that from previous relationships or, around society. I mean, because think about it. Society doesn't necessarily teach you to go back and grab your mate. If my mate is having some psychological issues, or I'm having psychological issues, society doesn't show me, from growing up, like, hey man, go back and go get your old lady, or oh, hey old lady, go back and go get your man. It normally does show you what you said. It shows you, hey, if they not doing right, go get somebody else who can fill that void for you. So is it that are we giving are we giving people enough room to grow? Are we even telling them that these are the type of things that we need from them, or are we just going ahead and just doing what feels best for us? What do you think?
As a society, no, we're not communicating that properly at all. Me personally, I think I over communicate and I scare people.
Okay.
In my marriage, I was overly communicative about what I needed. to the point where that person shut me out. Like, oh, I can never give you that,
Oh
because
wow.
they didn't have the courage. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have the courage to fight at that point, and I was blind to that. You know what I'm saying? I just was like, you just don't care enough for me. When all actuality is, he wasn't communicating that he didn't know how.
Right. 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 Right.
I felt that he knew how because I see where he came from, who his people is. You
Right.
know, you've seen it. So what are you talking about? You can't.
Right.
Now I'm in a situation where I'm like, no, you just won't.
Mm.
Not taking in consideration that he might really just be off.
Right. He really don't know how.
He need a reset. Like he needs to go to therapy
Right,
about
right,
this
right.
shit.
Right.
Like he literally had some trauma that stopped him from growing in the emotional way that I needed him to. Like he was there, he was working, and then something happened, and then he just stopped.
Right.
And he was just like, I'm going back to being a child. I want my mama again.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at him like, I had 3 babies.
Right. 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 Nah, but trauma is real.
So,
go ahead.
yeah, trauma can change a lot of things
No, it
in a
really can.
relationship.
It really can. It really can. And not be.
Everything in a relationship.
Say it one more time.
I said it can change everything in a relationship. Let me be clear about that.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, especially if you don't have the tools to, to help you with your trauma, I mean, like you said, with your ex, one day something just happened to him. But if he had some therapy, which is funny in the Black community, we choose not to kind of look at therapists. I guess we look at
I
them.
went to therapy.
Right. I don't think anything wrong with therapy. I think therapy is a good thing. I think it helps you deal with a lot of stressors that's out in society, but I think a lot of men, especially men, don't get an opportunity to speak with other people about the benefits of therapy. And it may, I think it affects. Go ahead.
I have a remedy for that.
Say it one more time.
If you don't want to go to therapy, I have a remedy for that. Or if you can't afford therapy, I have a remedy for that. Guess what it is?
What?
The internet. We're using the internet wrong. We're using the internet to shop and to gossip and to play all day. You can use the internet to learn some shit on your own, private. Nobody has to know or see it.
Right. That's true.
You know how many times I researched some shit on the internet and it helped me?
Right.
Of times. I even encourage my kids, if I don't have the true answer, let's look it up.
Right.
If I feel uneasy about a topic that I'm not an expert in this, maybe somebody else, I'm gonna go research it.
Right.
I'm gonna see how many people out there said the same thing, and I'm gonna probably most of the time, not on all things, but most of the time, like, okay, I could see how that could be true. I can see how I can apply that to my life and make it better. It's the effort that we lack, not the knowledge. The knowledge is there. It's out there for you to grab.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people with no parents, with no siblings, nothing, right?
Right.
Build themselves up by researching shit, asking other people questions. Sure. You see how these guys out there with the microphone, they're on the street, and they're like, well, what would you do if this?
Right.
And they're asking, or how you feel about this person, or what do you feel about this topic? You can do it too.
That's true. That's true.
Go research. Go take a poll. Get on your Facebook instead of reposting that whack ass rap video that you made last week. Ask a real question to the people and the followers that you have and see if they're not going to give you the real game. I'm big on social media about being in groups.
Right.
And seeing what the collective has to say about one topic. You learn so much about people by just people watching.
Right. Right.
Watch a bunch of people. See what they do. See what they say. And then you can form an idea if you're in the right direction or if you are different from everybody else, because I found in certain situations I ain't going with the majority.
Of course. Right. Right. Right.
But I feel like I don't think men do that enough.
I don't think men or women do it enough. You know, I mean,
Yeah, I can agree with that too. I don't think women do it enough either. So I don't think people
right,
do it enough. I think they rely too much on where they come from and what the people around them is doing, and not like the worldview. They don't have a good worldview. And when I went to college, that was one of my classes in
right,
college, worldview.
right,
We
right,
had a view of other people in other places and how they
right.
view certain topics.
Right. And that's very important because you can tell when people don't have worldviews, they're more apt to do the follow along thing, you know, the fads, you know, the tight t-shirts with the tight pants, the bubble booty with the skinny legs, you know, all the fad, you know, when you
The
don't have
what was the bubble booty with the skinny legs?
right, right. Look how it is. I mean, hey, I've seen them once or twice. I know you've seen one or two of them somewhere around here.
I mean, I
Looking
know a
like
few.
a pea. Looking like a pea.
I live in Atlanta. A couple of them are my friends.
Right, right,
I know
right,
what you
right. We both in the city. You know how it is. You know, we both
exactly.
right.
Exactly.
So,
I want to have that, you know, happily ever after. Like I said, I think the only thing that's lacking in my life right now is romance. That's something that I haven't really had
okay.
and that I want to experience. Romance and travel. I would like to see more of the world. I get on my phone, on my laptop. I'm looking at all these pictures and videos of people just enjoying the earth, and I want to be like them. Like that's something that I aspire to do. Like he asked me, "Oh, let me tell you." So he asked me, and I felt like, "Damn, I'm not." So he's like, "Are you passport ready?"
Okay, he's a
I said,
passport, bro.
I said, no, actually, I'm not. I haven't been out the country since I was a little girl. My passport been expired. I was been supposed to, like once
Right.
I turned 18, I was supposed to do something about that, and I did not do it. So I'm like, no, I'm not passport ready, and that just hurt my heart because this was not the first time somebody asked me that. So that's something I'm working on right now. Oh, baby, about to be passport ready in the next 2 months.
Hey,
Promise you that.
get it, get it.
Because I don't want another high value man to come to me and say, "Are you passport ready? I'm ready to go to Bali." And I'm be like, "Nah, I ain't
I
got
mean,
no passport. I
I mean,
want to be ready."
his breath might be hot though. You know, I don't know if you're gonna be able to hold it down on that plane with that. With
Baby, I
that.
will buy him all the Listerine that the store can supply.
There you go. There you
And we
go.
will be in Bali, and we will be having a good time. I want one of them mud massages,
All
and I
right.
want to ride the little skinny boot. Yeah, I want to do that.
There
So
you go.
I could pay for it. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I don't even need you to pay for it. I would like to have a companion to just share the experience with.
Right.
I'm ready for that. So like I gotta get passport ready, like he said. So I took away that from the date as like a motivation. Yeah, bitch, you gotta get passport ready.
Yeah. Get ready. Get ready.
You gotta be talking to these high value men and you're not passport ready. What's up? What you doing? Where you going?
Ah.
Nowhere. Going to
Ah.
work. You're
Ah.
just going to work and you go home. Now you want to go to Bali? You gotta be passport ready because niggas is ready to go.
Now let me ask you a question. Does a woman need to be just as high value as a man when she finds this high value guy?
So nobody has to be exactly the same,
Okay.
but you have to be on the same field. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like I said before, men can get with women who don't have cars. Women can get with men who don't have a car, right? That and it can work for them. I've done it in the past. When I first got married, my ex-husband did not have a car, but he was a military man. He had been deployed back to back for like 4 years.
Right.
He didn't need a car. Okay, so it was okay for me because it's like, well, what is he using the car for? He's on a boat
Right. Right.
all
Right.
the time.
Right.
When he comes to town, he gets him a rental. He's fine. That's cool with me. He has the money to do so. So it's not that y'all have to be exactly the same. It's just that you have to be on the same field.
Right.
If something was to happen and I couldn't drive him somewhere, he needs to be able to get himself where he got to go. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
That's how I feel. I feel like there shouldn't be anybody who's initially This is just the initial part, because sometimes your spouse or your mate can become dependent on you for certain things, but that's y'all. That's how y'all make
Right.
up y'all relationship,
Right.
and that's okay. That's definitely okay, because I was dependent on my ex-husband for certain things, and he was dependent on me for certain things once the relationship got into a mature state. But at the initial point, if he did not show up with some money in his hand, or if he needed a rise and wear, I could pick up the slack.
Right. Right.
I could do that for him, or I could do it for myself. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by you guys got to be like on the same field. You should be able, anything that I ask a man to do for me right now today, I can do for myself.
Correct. Correct.
I'm never asking someone to do something for me that I could not do for myself.
The compatibility thing. You guys compatible. You can if he falls, you're there to catch.
I mean, but that's what having a mate is supposed to be for. Is you're supposed to be able to lean on them.
Yeah, that is true.
You know, it shouldn't be to a point where no matter how much money I make, my nigga ain't never gonna make that much money, and he don't know how to go get that type of money, and he don't even want that type of money. He just want to ask me for something.
Right.
That's not healthy. That's toxic.
Right. Right.
Because now you're gonna be getting used.
Right. Right. No, that's true.
Now everything is transactional.
That's a true statement.
Now we're doing business.
Right.
And you're never supposed to miss business with pleasure.
Right.
What my mama used to say, you
Right.
never let your right hand know what your left hand doing.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not supposed to be mixed up like that. You're supposed to keep them separate, or you end up like Trump.
Free Trump. Free Trump.
Yeah, because he mixes business with his pleasure.
He definitely did. He definitely did. But that's what I got. We'll talk about Trump on another time.
Exactly. I just had to throw that out there. That man is a trip.
He is. That man is comic book. Well,
Yeah.
I had a great time talking with you tonight. I'm sure the people enjoyed this conversation because you put out a lot of good gems out there for for single women who are looking for modern men or who are currently dating men and who understanding red flags, green flags, or no flags. You put it out there for all. So I definitely.
I had a question for you
Yes.
because I know you're the host and you're supposed to be giving me an interview, but I wanted to ask you a question.
Yes.
So, like you asked me earlier, can women be high value as well? And do you look at it as high value as financial only, or how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I definitely think that women bring a lot of value to me. Can bring a lot of value to it. I don't think that a man necessarily has to be financially stable in order for him to be considered high value. I think it all has a lot to do with a man's potential as well. If he has some potential and a woman sees the potential in him and she's working with him, I mean, she's rocking with him, they're in a relationship. And I think that she can do some little things that will boost him in becoming a better man. It's not necessarily that she has to like say things to him or whatnot. It just may be the way that she carries herself that may make him want to be a even better man for her and for himself. So I think I think her value, I think a woman's value doesn't necessarily have to be necessarily have to be tangible. It's more so intrinsic. You know what I'm saying? What are you bringing out of me to make me be better? You know what I'm saying? And that in turn can develop me to being a high value man, financially, physically, emotionally, things of that nature.
So we live in Atlanta, and this city is full of financially superior women. Like, I mean, these are some real girl bosses out here. Shout outs to the girl bosses out there. But what does that look like in your eyes? Like, is that intimidating? Because I've seen where it's like these guys are really, really out here just like trying to snatch them up a sugar mama type deal. That first thing out their mouth is what you do, what kind of car you drive. Like it's like the roles have almost reversed in the dating world in Atlanta. Like, they want to know what kind of female you are, especially if you look a certain type of way. Like, I have a friend, she has a BBL. She is she has her own little empire that she's building with her hair. She does hair and whatever. And she has her own buildings and salon and all these things, right? She has employees and
She's doing
everything.
the thing.
She's doing her thing. And so she got this man.
Right.
She got this man.
He ain't too good, huh? Well, I mean, I think it's like you
this
said.
This man is like this. He like this.
Right.
I mean, she bought him motorcycles.
Right.
She done bought him cars. She done took him all over the world. And it's never on his dime. It's never. I mean, I don't know if it's the penis, because we didn't get into that, because I was like, I want to ask her, like, girls, you dick blinded? What's up?
Right.
Like,
it's a little bit of that.
Like, I mean, I'm talking about soon as the check come out.
Right.
He go in her damn wallet and get in the card like it's his.
Right.
It's to the point where she done got him a card to her account so he don't do that.
Well, I mean, but it's like you said earlier, when you accept, okay, so, earlier in the conversation, you said that, hey, it's easy for a woman to accept a man who doesn't have anything if he brings me a different type of emotional high value or a different type of value.
But see, me, I wasn't considering the sex. Like, some women out here just doing it for the sex.
I mean, that's their value. That's the high value that they get. So they're willing to pay men for that.
No, sis.
Right.
No, sis.
You might
no,
not.
Sis. Don't do it, sis.
But they
if
do it.
You listen, don't do that, sis.
They doing it.
You can have several of those, sis. I'm telling you, they're out here.
They're
out here. You can send them on their way. You can send them right back home when you're done with them. Don't do that.
But you know what? If she paying one, she got to pay the rest, because that's how she feels that she's going to get her emotional stability from that guy. You know what I'm saying? He might not stay around. No, because she's going to say, oh, I bought this one.
I don't even think she's getting that from him. She constantly complains about everything he does. It's like, why? It's like, if sex is if that's the only thing, I feel like she feels like she has invested so much in this man. She do not want him to walk away and get with someone else at this point. It's just more so, it's like, if I can't have you, no one can. So I'm going to buy your ass out. I'm going to give you everything you want just so you can stay. She's not satisfied in any aspect.
I mean, that's crazy. So my question to that is, I have two questions to that. One, is she intimidated by guys who are high value? And two, does she feel as if she is getting more out of having a person who doesn't have as much, and she's able to, quote unquote, maybe control him better? I mean, is that something that you ever talked with her about? Because that don't make sense. I mean, if you got all this going on, I mean, most guys don't really care if you bought a body.
She a girl boss. You hear me? Degrees, right. Everything. And I'm just looking at him, and I'm like,
how does she treat him?
You can tell she loves him out loud, but when she is upset, it's like, it's everything. She hates everything about this man. It's like, but you putting on this facade that you're in such infatuation with this man, but you hate everything. I mean, I'm talking about the list is so long of the things that you dislike. Why are you putting yourself through that turmoil? And I've come up with my own theory, and is that she just don't want nobody else to have him at this point. It's like, she's possessive. I feel like women with money, with success, and they are high value, they really create this ego as if they are a man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now they're possessive, and they're like really aggressive about what's theirs.
Right. And I think,
and like you said, it's a bit of controlling. It's so controlling.
Right.
Like, that man's gonna do what he wants to do, and it's not any amount of money that's gonna stop him. I mean, she's letting him cheat.
Right.
She's letting him hit her. She's letting him, she's bailing him out of jail.
Right.
She's doing all these things that if it was any other person, she probably wouldn't do. But it's like, what makes him so special? And I think it's the time. I think that the time that she spent, and the amount of money that she spent, and all the people and connections that they have intertwined. Now it's like, damn, I'm gonna have to get new friends. His friends is my friends.
Right.
We've spent all this time together. We've gone
Right.
all these places together. Every time my memories pop up on my phone, it's him, it's him,
Right.
it's him. She don't want to start over.
Right. I mean, it's a bad marriage without being in a marriage, but I definitely think that she she needs to start over. Two, being in Atlanta, seeing that it's a city full of boss women, you know what I'm saying, especially in the last 5 to 10 years, about 5 to 8 years, seeing that this city like that, I think the fact of the matter is a lot of guys, how can I say this?
They prey on women like that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can
they
tell
do.
the way he talks and boasts about everything that he has to other people. Like, we be in the same room, we be at the same party, we be at the same function, and he's just bragging and bragging and bragging about how this woman is so in love with him and how he just has all these things, and he's never giving her the accolade of helping him obtain those things, or basically her giving him them things, because he hasn't done anything for it.
I mean, but that's what she wants. You know what I'm saying? If she really wanted somebody who was on her level from Jump Street, she would have got somebody who was on her level. You know what I'm saying? I think most women who are in her position like those kind of guys. One, because of the time, you know, two, because of the emotional, maybe even sexual exploits that they give. Maybe they feel like, you know what I'm saying, a guy who on her level or maybe a little bit higher, he don't have time to be all freaky deaky. And he possibly does, but you know, she may feel like he ain't got the time to be all freaky deaky, eat booty, do all the crazy stuff that I want him to do because he out here making money. But old JoJo right here,
I mean, I've ran into that problem.
right.
I'm running into that problem where a man is just not available to me all the time. And it was an adjustment.
Right.
It wasn't that big of an adjustment because my ex-husband was a military man, so I was used to him being away. But
Right.
it was an adjustment of not, having access to him as much as I wanted.
Right.
And everything had to be scheduled and all that good stuff.
And I know women like access, and you know, without access, it kind of drives you guys crazy. So I think the fact that you guys are more women who are doing well with their finance are more apt to get guys who are more accessible because you just like the access. You know, this
Is that true for men? Is that true for men who like are high value? Do y'all? Because I see it too, where a lot of these men, let's say for instance, their baby moms be bums. You know what I'm saying? They don't. I'd be like, damn, you laid down and had a baby with that, and he'll be embarrassed, but he keeps messing with her. So it's like, is it because it's easy access?
Well, I don't know what his problem is. I mean, if he's embarrassed about the lady and he's still messing with her, then he just on some other stuff. But I mean,
they be like, I'm sorry, she's this, she's that. And I'm like, why you apologizing
for
her? Like, that's what you like?
That's just what
I
you
guess
like.
they don't want you to know that that's what they like, or that's the type of time they was on at that point in time
And
in their lives. I don't know.
They still on that time because they go back to her. Yeah,
they still be messing with her.
Right.
But that's why I assume maybe it's because they have access to her, and she's so like, I'm here whenever you need me or want me type thing.
But she might not even be saying that. But you know what I'm saying? I think with guys don't really. Guys are more apt to talk to anybody who's breathing for the most part. Most guys are gonna be like, well, I'm just gonna be able to get back.
No standards. Like, no.
Right.
I've been finding out by dating that men have higher standards than women.
No, we do is the society makes it seem as if you guys have the high standards and you guys are the prize and we just, some meat.
No. See, because I think we are the prize, but they look, we disagree on that one. No, I think that every relationship, every couple has a prize.
Right.
And it could be the man or it could be the woman.
Right.
It varies. Each couple is different. But I don't like when a man does not dote on his woman and praises her as if she was the prize, even if he knows she's not.
Right.
I never seen a man like who is married happily do that. I've never seen a man who's happily married treat their wife as if she is not the prize. Okay. Every happily married couple, they always treat their wife as if she is the prize. Right. Even in gay relationships where it's two women, I've seen the masculine women dote on the feminine woman as if she is the prize. And that's what I'm searching for. I don't want a man to treat me as if he is the prize.
Right. Well,
I
it's a
want him to lie to me, baby.
right. No. I don't think he got a lie to you and make it sound fly to you. I just think it's a two-way street. You know, most people who give that accolade and that you know who do that with their spouses, most of the time their spouses are giving them something that you're not seeing as well, which is a lot of respect. I mean, when I say you, I'm not saying you specifically as Ty, but you.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Right. I think the people aren't saying that. You know, they're giving them a lot of respect, a lot of saying it's a lot of respect and
a lot of love and tenderness
correct,
behind
correct,
closed doors.
correct,
Yeah.
correct.
It's allowing them to be so vocal about it. And
Right,
I want a man who's vocal about me.
right,
Like, you know how women say, I want a man that don't play about me. Yeah, I
right.
get what they saying with that. They're not saying no, I want a man who's like aggressively out here trying to kill anybody.
Right.
No, we're not that. We're too grown for that.
Right.
What we mean when we say we want my man not to play about me is even in his speech.
Right.
He holds me to the highest standards and he puts me on a pedestal, even how he talks about me and how he mentions me in conversations.
Right.
I never want to be, and I was in my past relationship, like I said, I was with someone for a year after I got divorced, after I left my ex-husband. I was with someone a year, and when I wasn't around, he didn't praise me.
Yeah.
I had some people come back to me with stories, and I'm just looking at him like, you said that about me? Or you're talking negatively to anybody about me? Like, it's not that it's family or it's our closest friends. It's just anybody who talks to you about me, you have something. It's almost where he wanted everybody to hate me or dislike me or look down on me because he wanted to knock me down on a peg or something. Like, it was so weird.
Did you ever figure out or have a conversation as to why that was occurring, or you know what I'm saying, why he was trying to knock you down?
Yeah, because he didn't. He was jealous of how people was attracted to me. Even if it wasn't sexual, he hated that people would be attracted to me. He wanted to dim my light in some sort of way. Okay. So that way, it can kind of be like I cling to him for that. Like it's like Stockholm syndrome.
Right. He tried to break your
yeah, if you think your abuser is the only one who loves you out here in this world, you're gonna stick to him because he's your abuser and he's telling you this, and you never heard someone else say they love you. So you don't know. But because I didn't grow up that way, or I don't have that effect on people, my people effect is so great. When it comes to how people, they're just attracted to me, and it could be just a friendship or whatever it is. It just, I can meet a random person and have a whole conversation with them, and they're just like, oh, you're such a great person. I just really love your vibe, your energy. He hated it. He wanted to be the only one to say, I love your vibe and your energy. He didn't want nobody else to tell me that shit. He hated it. And I guess I smiled a little too hard, or you know, maybe I had gotten to a good mood after I heard those type of things, and he was just like, I don't like it. You know, she gonna figure out that she don't need me.
You know what? It's a lot of guys that's out here like, and unfortunately, some of them get married. You're not the person who I've heard that.
A lot of them get married.
A lot of them get married. You're not the only person who I've heard that. Now those are gentlemen who I would say they hate women. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, some of them end up, not only do they get married, some of them end up becoming the poster child for what a high value man would look like. You know what I'm saying? And then they end up getting, some of them end up with some. They go either way. You know, they're in all spectrum.
No, high end, low end. This person that I was in a relationship with, he looks as if he's a high value man.
Mm-hmm.
The way he sets his life up to look like he got it all like that. But the proof is in the pudding, because every woman no matter how beautiful she is, because he has very good taste in women.
Right.
They always figure out what I figured out.
Right. Right. That he's
You,
narcissistic.
you are in competition with women, and that is weird.
How'd you end up leaving that relationship?
Jail.
Oh wow. Okay. Tell us a little bit
I went
about
to jail.
You had to bust him in his head.
I went to jail. When the police on me and told them a story that I could not believe. And then after I got out of jail, and my daddy, he picked me up from the jail. He said, "You got horrible taste in men." And I was like, I had to go back and like look at everything, and I was like, he's absolutely right. Like,
Okay.
he's absolutely right. I had to tell my dad, like, Dad, you absolutely right. Not only do I have horrible taste in men, I don't really know who I am.
Right.
At that point, I didn't know who I was. So I took the last 2 years, first finding out who I was, 2, forgiving myself for all my past mistakes, 3, getting therapy, going to therapy, having somebody else hold me accountable for the things that I, am doing, my habits. And also, I learned how to check myself.
Okay.
Sometimes I slip up, like my post today on Facebook, and sometimes I just let it fly. But most times I am already telling myself, and what about you? And what did you do in this situation? And how did you let this person, get under your skin, and you reacted like this and you didn't have to? That was a choice. So I always check myself now. So like I said, I went on this whole self journey, and I'm still on it. Every day I'm still practicing what I preach. I'm definitely self-aware about where I go wrong in certain situations. I know my triggers now. I didn't know I had triggers.
Right.
I have triggers.
Right.
I hate when people call me bougie. Don't do it, because it's a trigger. Just leave that out.
Don't
call me bougie. I am who I am because I was raised how I was raised. It has nothing to do with me being bougie, because I consider myself humble. Everybody around me tells me I'm humble. So if you throw that low blow out there, it's going to trigger me.
You're right. Got you.
And then, just like calling me out my name, that's a trigger for me. Getting physically aggressive with me, that's a trigger. Don't do it. Just, keep your hands to yourself and keep my hands to myself, because I am the type of woman to defend herself, and we gonna be going toe to toe, and that's not good. I have shit to lose. I have kids, a house, job, career. Like, I can't be playing tussle games with you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really about protecting my peace, and I'm really about my, staying true to me in all situations. Like, so I know my triggers, so I will stay away from you if I feel like you're triggering me.
Right. No, but that's good though. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, that's why I say I think therapy is good. I mean, therapy is good for folks. You got to know yourself in order to be beneficial to anybody else.
When I tell you, if I can give that lady an award,
mm-hmm.
what she's done for me in my life. And I also feel like I might end up getting a life coach. I don't know if that's something I want to do yet, but I'm researching it.
Right. Hey, if that's what you want to do.
Maybe I need a life coach to put me to the next level, because it's something that I'm doing wrong, or something that I'm not doing at all that I probably should be doing.
Right.
Because I want this certain lifestyle, and I'm not at that yet. So I want to get there.
Right.
And maybe a life coach can help me in that way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think if you have your path put down, I mean, at least mapped out in your mind, I think you're gonna walk in and get there. It's just gonna look different at times, but I think you'll walk in and get there.
Yeah. I really do appreciate you allowing me to chat and talk today. It was nice to get that off my chest. I don't have no ill will to that man. But that man needs to do something about his breath. And if, I unblock him.
Oh, hey, you blocked the man? You blocked him? Wow. I didn't know you blocked him, man. Oh.
I blocked him out my phone, but not off my social media. So if he sees the post, he sees the post. I'm not gonna shy away from it.
Right.
But I do want him to find whatever he looking for, but it ain't me.
It might be some Listerine. It might be some Listerine.
Yeah, he needs something else. Until he heal, until he like get that chip off his shoulder and that arrogance. I don't do well with men like that. I've had men like that in the past, and just my personality, this won't mesh well because I have this thing that I do that I learned from my mother. It's called nice nasty.
Okay.
Have you ever heard a black woman get on the phone
Yeah,
to the cell phone company or goddamn light bill company and they like real nice nasty to you're gonna do this? Yeah, I'm one of those.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in yelling at men. I think that's demeaning. I think that I just will never yell at another man ever again.
Right. You just gotta be nice nasty.
I'm gonna be nice nasty. And I feel like that hurts them way worse. Like a calm black woman is way scarier than a irrational, loud black woman.
Right.
Nobody takes the loud black lady seriously, but the quiet, whispering, serious tone,
right. She
the
gonna
mom tone. That's what I call it.
Right.
She's dangerous.
Right.
You don't know when she's gonna do something crazy with her hands. You don't know what's happening. You're just like on edge. You're listening. So I've learned that you can get way more on from someone when you're just
nice nasty.
A little quiet. Nice nasty.
Nah, you're right though. You're right. It works. It does work.
It does work.
It does work. Now, I had a great time talking with you, Ty. I'll be, I don't know if you ever want to come back again, but you're more than welcome to, come back and chop it up with me some more. We talk about
who comes on the show next. Yeah, I can't wait to see who comes on the show next, and maybe they can piggyback on a lot of things that we talked about. I want to see other women's perspective on it. Like us girls, we have girl chats. We talk amongst ourselves, but it's nice when it's outspoken and then especially when it's just not like a celebrity.
Right.
Like just regular girls.
Right. I just
living a regular life, tell a story or two.
Right. Nobody, that's why I started this channel, because I was tired of just seeing everybody else just, talk about things that we probably wouldn't attain, what I'm saying, in life. You're like, yeah, I mean, I want $1 million, but how many times are you actually, I mean, none of my friends are millionaires. The people who you were listening to talking about $1 million, it's not practical. So, I just want to be practical with conversation and with people, what I'm saying? A lot of practical.
It just keep it as real as possible.
Right. Right. I think we had
we're not doing this for a check. We're just really just having a conversation, and it's organic. And I like that.
That's it.
Keep up the good work. Congratulations to you.
Well, I appreciate you. Tell your friends, share it out. Tell your friends, tell them, hey, come chop it up with O. You know what I'm saying? He cool.
I sure will. No problem. No problem at all.
Well,
maybe one day I can come back for another topic. I got stories for days.
You know what? Offline, I'll get with you. You know what I'm saying? We'll chop it up. I'll definitely have you back.
Okay. Thank you. Good night.
All right. Good night, y'all.